Your mind is your greatest investment. Guard it like treasure. Everything you'll ever become begins in your thoughts. You can't have a rich life with a poor mindset. You can't build success with a foundation of doubt. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it grows. If you plant weeds of fear, excuses, and worry, that's exactly what you'll harvest. But if you plant seeds of faith, vision, and determination, your life will bloom with results that others will call luck. The truth is, it's not luck, it's mental preparation meeting opportunity. Most people don't protect their mind, they let anyone and anything dump garbage into it. Negative conversations, toxic media, endless distractions. Every day the mind is being fed something. And what it's fed, it becomes. You must decide to guard it. You must say, not everything deserves access to my attention. Be selective with what you read, what you watch, and who you listen to. Because every word, every image, every voice plants something in your consciousness. You're not just scrolling a screen. You're shaping your future. You wouldn't leave your home unlocked in a bad neighborhood, would you? Then why leave your mind open to every careless opinion, every discouraging voice? Protect your mental environment. Keep your inner space clean and organized with ideas that build you up. A cluttered mind leads to a cluttered life. The sharper and clearer your thinking, the better your decisions and the faster your progress. Guarding your mind also means controlling your self-talk. The most dangerous conversation is the one you have with yourself when no one is around. If you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, your mind believes it. If you keep saying, I can't, your mind shuts down possibilities. But when you speak words of belief, your mind starts searching for proof. Say to yourself, I'm capable, I'm learning, I'm growing stronger. Soon your subconscious will begin to act on that new belief. The words you feed your mind are like instructions to your future. Speak power, not weakness. Remember, your mind will reflect your associations. Spend time with people who challenge you to think bigger, who talk about ideas, goals, and personal growth. If you walk with dreamers, you'll start to dream more. If you sit among complainers, you'll begin to complain. The people around you are shaping your standards without you even realizing it. Choose your company like you choose your clothes, with purpose and care. Guarding your mind isn't about isolation, it's about direction. You're steering your mental energy toward growth, not gossip, toward learning, not laziness, toward creation, not comparison. Every day, the world is pulling for your attention. But a focused mind is a powerful mind. When you know where you're going, distractions lose their grip. Feed your mind what it needs, not what it craves. Junk thoughts give temporary comfort, but disciplined thoughts build lasting confidence. Read daily, reflect deeply, ask better questions. The quality of your life rises with the quality of your thinking. Protect your mind from mediocrity, and you'll attract excellence in every area of life. So treat your mind as the most valuable possession you have, because it is. You can lose money and make it again. You can lose possessions and rebuild them. But if you lose control of your mind, everything else begins to fall apart. Guard it with intention, feed it with wisdom, challenge it with learning, strengthen it with discipline. The person who guards their mind guards their destiny. And when your mind becomes your strongest asset, you'll find that nothing in life can truly stop you. The language you speak to yourself becomes your life's direction. Every day, from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're talking to yourself. You may not say it out loud, but those quiet whispers inside your head are shaping your belief, your confidence, and your decisions. Most people never realize that the most influential voice in their life is not their boss, their spouse, or their friends. It's their own. The story you tell yourself becomes the map you follow. If you tell yourself you can't, your mind will find all the reasons to prove you right. If you tell yourself you can, your mind will find the courage to make it happen. Words have power. They can build or they can break. The words you repeat often enough sink deep into your subconscious, and soon they become your reality. You might not be able to control every circumstance. You can control the conversation happening inside you. The mind believes what it hears most often, so feed it with words of strength, not weakness. Think about it, the successful people you admire don't speak to themselves the same way average people do. They don't say, I'm not good enough. They say, I can learn what I need. They don't say, this is impossible. They say, I'll find a way. That difference in language creates a difference in action. When your inner voice becomes your coach instead of your critic, your potential expands. You begin to see possibilities where others see limits. You start walking taller, deciding quicker, and believing deeper. Now, this doesn't mean you lie to yourself or ignore reality. It means you choose language that supports your growth instead of killing your spirit. You can acknowledge that something is hard and still say, I can handle it. You can admit you're afraid and still whisper, I'll take the next step anyway. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every word of encouragement you speak to yourself is a seed of confidence that grows stronger with time. Your words create emotions, your emotions create actions, and your actions create outcomes. That's the chain of life. If your language is negative, your emotions follow that tone. You start feeling stuck, doubtful, or fearful. But when your language is empowering, your emotions rise with it. You feel more capable, more focused, more alive. So watch your inner vocabulary. If you catch yourself saying, I can't, change it to, how can I? If you say, this always happens to me, switch it to, what can I learn from this? That small shift in words changes the direction of your thoughts, and your thoughts change your future. Your mind is always listening. Every time you speak, you're giving it instructions. So be intentional. Speak words that move you forward. Speak like a leader, even when you feel unsure. Speak like a winner, even when you've just failed. Because the person who wins is not the one who never falls. It's the one who never lets their inner voice keep them down. When you change the language of your self-talk, you start rewriting the script of your life. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the author of your destiny. You develop a new rhythm of belief that says, no matter what comes my way, I'll rise. You'll notice that the more positive and purposeful your inner conversation becomes, the clearer your path appears. You'll find courage where there used to be fear. You'll find solutions where there used to be problems. So from now on, speak words that strengthen you. Speak with hope, with discipline, with faith. The words you repeat daily will eventually define the person you become. Remember, the world doesn't shape you first, your words do. The language you speak to yourself becomes your life's direction, so make sure it points toward greatness. Discipline is mental muscle, train it daily. You see, most people think discipline is punishment, but it's not. Discipline is the refining fire that shapes your potential into power. It's the quiet force that builds character. When no one is watching, you can have the best ideas, the biggest dreams, and the strongest intentions, but without discipline, they'll stay locked inside your imagination. Discipline is what turns someday into today. It's the bridge between desire and achievement. Think about it this way. Your mind is like a muscle. If you never use it against resistance, it gets weak. Every time you do something you said you would do, especially when you don't feel like it, you strengthen that mental muscle. Every time you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, every time you focus instead of drifting, every time you choose effort over excuse, you're training your mind to obey your goals instead of your moods. The people who succeed aren't always more talented, but they've trained their minds to stay on course when others drift off track. Discipline is built in the small moments. It's not about grand gestures. It's about quiet consistency. It's choosing water over soda, work over distraction, study over scrolling. It's in those little choices that the foundation of greatness is laid. Most people quit because they only practice discipline when it's convenient. But real discipline begins when it's inconvenient, when you're tired, when it's boring, when no one's cheering you on. That's when your true strength is forged. And here's the beautiful truth. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes. What once felt like a burden becomes a habit, and what was once a struggle becomes second nature. The mind adapts. It gets tougher. It starts to crave structure. It begins to see the reward that comes from staying consistent. Discipline creates momentum. And momentum creates results. Once you taste progress, you'll never want to go back to chaos. But don't confuse discipline with perfection. Discipline isn't about never failing, it's about never quitting. You will slip, you will fall. But if your mindset is trained, you'll get back up faster. You'll learn from the stumble and move forward with greater wisdom. That's the real power of a disciplined mind. It bends, but it doesn't break. It learns to adapt, to adjust, to push through the storm and stay steady under pressure. Discipline also builds self-respect. When you tell yourself you'll do something and you follow through, you earn trust with yourself. And that self-trust is priceless. It gives you confidence, it gives you calm, and it gives you control. You start to realize that you don't need external motivation. You've become your own source of drive. You no longer depend on the environment to feel inspired because your habits carry you forward. So ask yourself every day, am I training my mental muscle or am I letting it get weak? Every act of discipline is a vote for the stronger version of you. Each time you show up, even in the smallest ways, you're shaping the kind of person who can handle more, achieve more, and become more. Remember, no one can give you discipline. You must develop it yourself. And once you do, it becomes the foundation for everything else. Your work, your health, your relationships, your success. Discipline is not a one-time act, it's a lifelong practice. Just like the body needs daily exercise, the mind needs daily training. Feed it structure. Challenge it with consistency. Stretch it with responsibility. If you keep doing that, you'll discover that discipline doesn't just control your actions, it transforms your identity. You'll no longer say, I wish I could. You'll start saying, I do. That's when the mind becomes strong, focused, and unstoppable. Growth begins where comfort ends, and that's a truth that never changes. Every person who has ever achieved something extraordinary had to first step into a zone of uncertainty. You see, comfort feels good, but it's also the most dangerous place you can live. It's warm, predictable, and easy. But it's also where dreams go to die quietly. The moment life becomes too comfortable, progress stops. You can't reach new heights while clinging to what's safe. The human mind is built to expand through challenge. It's like a muscle. It only grows when it's tested. When you lift weights, your muscles tear a little and then they rebuild stronger. The same thing happens with your mind. When you push yourself to learn something new, to take a risk, or to face a fear, you stretch your capacity. You might feel pressure, tension, even fear, but that's the sign that growth is happening. Comfort is a signal that you're standing still. Discomfort is proof that you're moving forward. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They stay in jobs they dislike because it's familiar. They hold back their ideas because they fear rejection. They refuse to try again because failure hurt once. But every time you protect yourself from discomfort, you rob yourself of strength. Growth demands discomfort. Every great story of success begins with a challenge that scared someone. But instead of running from it, they stepped toward it. That decision, to face rather than flee, is what separates the average from the unstoppable. If you want to become more, you have to be willing to do more, and doing more will always require some pain. When you start a new habit, your mind resists it. When you take on a new goal, your comfort zone screams to pull you back. That's normal. It's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that your old limits are being challenged. You can't grow without that tension. Every bit of resistance you feel is your old self trying to survive while your new self begins to emerge. The moment you accept that discomfort is part of the process, life changes. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you realize it doesn't exist. You stop worrying about whether you feel ready because you understand readiness comes through doing. You stop comparing yourself to others because your only competition is who you were yesterday. When you embrace discomfort, you become dangerous because most people will never do it. Think about this: a seed must break before it can grow. It must leave the safety of the shell and face the dirt, the dark, and the weight of the earth pressing down. Yet, it pushes through until it reaches the light. That's how you and I grow. The breaking, the pressure, the darkness, they're not punishment, they're preparation. Every challenge you face is training your mind to handle more, to rise higher, and to see further. So if you're uncomfortable right now, good, that means you're in the middle of transformation. Don't run from it. Stay with it. Keep pushing, keep learning, keep believing. The people who grow the most are the ones who refuse to retreat when it gets hard. Growth begins where comfort ends, and comfort ends the moment you choose to chase something greater than convenience. When you look back years from now, you won't remember the days you felt safe. You'll remember the days you stretched yourself beyond what you thought was possible. That's where the magic happens. That's where strength is built. That's where you discover who you really are. Because the truth is, the only way to live a big life is to stop living small. And the only way to become unstoppable is to step beyond comfort and into growth. See victory before you live it. That's one of the greatest secrets to mental mastery and personal achievement. Everything you've ever done began first in your imagination. The mind is a picture factory, and it builds the blueprint long before the body does the work. The truth is, you can't live what you can't see. The world you see on the outside is only a reflection of the pictures you hold on the inside. Before success becomes a reality, it must first become a clear vision in your mind. Most people live by sight. They only believe something after it happens. But the successful, the leaders, the champions, they live by vision. They hold an image of their future so strong that it pulls them forward through pain, fear, and delay. They rehearse victory until it feels inevitable. The mind, once convinced, drives the body to perform. So, if you want to live like a winner, start by thinking and seeing like one. Don't wait for proof. Create the proof in your imagination first. Every day, take time to picture yourself succeeding. Close your eyes and see yourself calm under pressure. Speaking with confidence, finishing what you start. Feel the emotion of victory, the pride, the peace, the gratitude. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It only responds to repetition and emotion. When you visualize with feeling, you're training your mind to expect success, not fear it. And whatever the mind expects, the body starts to create. If you picture failure, you attract hesitation. If you picture doubt, you breed fear. But if you picture victory, you invite confidence. And confidence is what turns ordinary effort into extraordinary performance. It's not arrogance. It's belief in progress. The more you see yourself overcoming, the easier it becomes to actually do it. You'll start walking differently, talking differently, deciding differently. You'll stop saying, I hope it happens, and start saying, I know it's on its way. Visualization is not fantasy. It's preparation. The athlete doesn't visualize just to feel good. He does it to get ready. The mind rehearses success so the body can deliver it on demand. Before a world-class performer steps on stage, he has already lived that moment 1,000 times in his mind. That's what separates the prepared from the uncertain. One has practiced mentally, the other is waiting to see what happens. The mind trained in victory is never surprised by it. See, the future belongs to those who have already walked there in their thoughts. When you wake up in the morning, don't just rush into the noise of the day. Take 5 quiet minutes to picture the day going right, your meetings flowing smoothly, your energy strong, your focus sharp. At night, before you sleep, review your goals and visualize progress. The more clearly you can see it, the faster it becomes your reality. Because the mind moves toward what it continually imagines. If you see yourself broke, beaten, or behind, life will match that vision. But if you see yourself strong, disciplined, and rising, life will respond with opportunities that align with that picture. That's not magic, that's mindset. You become what you think about most of the time. So, fill your imagination with success stories, faith, and determination. Build a movie of your future so vivid that you start living into it naturally. Remember this? All great achievements were first invisible. The airplane was invisible before the Wright brothers made it fly. The light bulb was invisible before Edison made it glow. Success is born in the unseen before it lives in the seen. So train your mind daily to see victory before it arrives. Act as if you already have the strength, the confidence, the power, and soon you will. Because when your mind sees it clearly, your life will follow faithfully. A trained mind turns every challenge into fuel for greatness. It doesn't panic when life gets hard. It doesn't fold when things fall apart. Adjusts, it adapts, and it grows stronger. That's the difference between people who crumble under pressure and those who rise higher with every setback. The untrained mind sees difficulty as defeat. The trained mind sees it as development, it says. This is not happening to me. It's happening for me. Every challenge, every delay, every disappointment becomes part of its preparation. You see, life will test you. It will throw you curveballs when you least expect them. It will place you in uncomfortable situations to see what you're made of. And the truth is, no one becomes great without struggle. Diamonds are made under pressure. Muscles grow from resistance. Character is forged in the fire. When you train your mind, you begin to understand this. You stop wishing for an easier path and start wishing for stronger shoulders. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. That shift in thinking is where power begins. Training your mind means developing the ability to stay calm when everyone else is losing it. It means controlling your focus when distractions are screaming for your attention. It means choosing gratitude instead of complaint, faith instead of fear, and persistence instead of quitting. These choices may seem small in the moment, but they're massive in their impact. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, your mind grows tougher. Every time you face fear instead of running from it, your confidence expands. The battle is always won inside before it's won outside. Most people don't lose because they're weak. They lose because they give up mentally long before the fight is over. The trained mind refuses to surrender. It says, I will find a way, even if that way takes longer, costs more, or hurts deeper. Because an unstoppable person doesn't rely on circumstances, they rely on their mindset. And that mindset says, no matter what happens, I will not be shaken. The moment you train your thoughts to stay strong in the storm, you begin to realize the storm was there to strengthen you, not to sink you. Think about it. Every champion you admire went through seasons of pain. Every successful person faced rejection, loss, and failure. But what separated them from the rest was how they used those challenges. The untrained mind complains about the problem. The trained mind looks for the lesson. It doesn't waste energy on what went wrong. It uses that energy to rise higher. Pain becomes a teacher. Failure becomes feedback, and obstacles become opportunities. That's how you grow. If you want to become unstoppable, you must learn to reframe adversity. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this? Your answers will strengthen you more than any comfort ever could. The person who can remain steady when the world shakes, that's the person who wins in the long run. Strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from mastering your reaction to them. So train your mind to believe that everything that happens is working in your favor, even if it doesn't look that way at first. Every delay may be a divine setup for something greater. Every closed door might be redirecting you to the right one. Life rewards those who refuse to quit. The more your mind learns to see struggle as a stepping stone, the faster you move toward your goals. Remember this, your mindset is your greatest weapon. When the mind is trained, the body follows, the emotions obey, and the spirit becomes unbreakable. With that kind of mental strength, no challenge can stop you. It can only shape you. So don't run from the hard times, use them. Don't curse the struggle, convert it, because every challenge, when faced with a trained mind, becomes the very fuel that drives you toward greatness.